Hey everyone, Genome here, catch you with yet another unboxing video. Yeah, this has been a week of instruments, and I actually pulled the trigger on something I've been wanting for a little while, and I figured I'd go ahead and open it up for you. So without further ado, let's get into a bit of music history here as I open up my Rogue violin style bass. One of the reasons I do it unboxing like this, because I know it's not exciting to watch people open up boxes. Well, some people might like it, but I mostly want to see like the packaging and how well it does. Now, this guitar obviously has two layers of packing. A little weak on the packaging compartment on the outer box, but hopefully the inner one's a little better. I mean, it's there. There's plenty of that in there, but there's a lot of loose space in there, and I feel like it can rattle around pretty badly. But here's the actual piece, and I don't think it's sealed or anything, so let's get in there. We gotta be careful. Hey, it comes with a cable, so I didn't know about that. It's definitely not a very good one, but hey, it's there. So, all right, and packaging inside seems pretty standard with all these other ones I've gotten. Could be a little better, but hopefully it got here unscathed. So let's get the protective film off of here and see what's what. And we have the Rogue Hex headstock, which is mimicking the quite famous Hüfner, if you sprechen the Deutsch, right, headstock. Something I did not know this had was a truss rod cover. And this looks like a mother of pearl. I'm sure it's just plastic, but that's an interesting touch. Now it's already got a blemish on it, I can see, but it might have just be some crud from packing in there. But yeah, so nice looking headstock. But anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes here, shall we? So very light. I have a jazz bass. I think probably weighs twice as much as this thing does. Oh my goodness. Woo, my sweetness. Would you look at that party thing? From headstock down, this thing is a gorgeous piece. Now we'll get into fit and finish here shortly, but man, oh man, what a piece of history, right? Or at least a clone of the piece of history. So there's actually quite a bit of story behind the violin bass, originally from Hüfner. We'll get into that a little more, well, maybe not, I don't know. Long story short, it's just a symmetrical bass, right? In a time back in the 60s when there really wasn't anything else like that. Paul could afford 30 pounds, probably equivalent to, I don't know, 40 US bucks for a guitar, and Fenders were 100 bucks. Hüfner was 30, but the selling point for it was symmetrical. So if you pop the pick guard off, you can play it either way. So he would just restring it before you got left-hand model, and it wouldn't look weird, because normally the horn, you know, being on top to counterbalance, right, doesn't look funny when you play it normally right-hand, but you switch it over, and now you got this giant horn underneath the short horn. It just looks kind of funny. So this was the answer for Paul to not look so silly while I was up there just ripping out those amazing bass lines. But anyway, enough history lesson there. There's obviously some protective film covering up some of these brackets here that are covering up the pickups here. I could pull this off, I suppose, but I'll just pull off one so you can kind of get an idea of this thing. And we'll see how one of the caps looks anyway. It's obviously a little strung a little tighter than I thought it would be for shipping, but I'm trying to hit the ceiling with it. There it is. So nice, bright, and shiny. But yeah, there's looks like film over the plastic guards too as well. Not sure if there's one on the pick guard, but I would assume there probably is. Yeah, it feels like there is. So mother of pearl design. See if I can get that off real fast. Because we got to see this thing in all its glory. There's still a little bit of packing stuff from the styrofoam casing, some shavings, but man, this thing is beautiful. Of course, you know, the tailpiece here is, well, they got to watch out for copyright and stuff, so it's a lot different than the straight, like, trapeze or whatever you normally see on the real thing, but nonetheless, this thing's pretty sharp looking. Got some of the original instrument panel. I'm really surprised that they don't make this like sans plate. And I may experiment and see how finished it is underneath. Just take the plate off of there, because I don't know if it really needs it, you know. I think it might look better without it. But got some knobs, 2 knobs here, the volume and tone or whatever, or two volume pickups for each of the pickups. And there is kind of a funky system here for engaging one, the other, and then muting one or the other. It's kind of I'll have to play with it around a little bit, but okay, so let's look at some more fit and finish here. You know, I haven't looked at the back of this thing yet. What a beautiful sunburst, kind of a flame look. See how much that's going to come in. See that the tiger stripe pattern there? How much is this going to come through the camera? Hopefully a lot. Absolutely gorgeous piece. I saw this, man, I had to get it. The Ignition, which is the Hofner branded version, is about 2 to 3 times as much as this. I got this for $149, I believe it was, shipped from Rogue. Doesn't always have the best reviews, but we'll see, we'll see. And some people are just jaded and don't think you can get anything decent for cheap. That Grote 335 over there, I think, was an amazing value. I did the other unboxing video. Let's give the feel of the tuners. No name brand. They feel actually pretty good. Not like a whole lot of play in there. But yeah, there's the tuners. Your Made in China sticker, of course. You can actually kind of see the scarf joint in this one. But they even do like a sunburst on the neck, which is kind of cool, right? Like darker down here at the base and all that. It's a fixed net, fixed net. A little bit of glue. That might just be rubbing compound, actually. I think it's just rubbing compound that's out there on finish. So let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of the fit and finish of this thing. Binding all the way around, both sides. Once again, very nice. Jack on the bottom. Mother of pearl pick guard, mother of plastic, I'm sure, but it looks sharp. Definitely has some trouble, and I think this is indicative of all of them sitting flush. It can't really do it, I don't think. Maybe it could be molded to do so, but I mean, the edging is not amazing on the pick guard, but you know, it's not what it's all about. But yeah, looks like 3-layer binding all the way around on both sides. Binding on the neck as well. See how it come through. There's the sight dots. Nice and plain to see. I am not sure, I guess I should have looked it up, what kind of wood the fretboard is. It's a darker wood. It looks very thirsty. Definitely gonna have to condition this, I think. Some sort of dyed rosewood alternative, I'm sure. But the dots seem okay. Frets are pretty dirty. They're gonna need a cleaning too while I got the strings off. I did order some flat wound strings because I hear this desperately needs it. And for those you don't know, this is a hollow body bass. So you should be able to hear a lot more out of this without it being plugged in. While I'm holding up there, mic's back here. You can feel this thing just hum and buzz, man. I'm so ready to plug this in and start pelting out some tunes. Of course, I can't play very well, but that's beside the point. So anyway, back to fit and finish. So yes, the finish is, this thing is absolutely gorgeous, man. This is my 3rd flame burst guitar. I also have a flame burst telly over there now, or a sunburst, excuse me, and a sunburst 333 or 335, excuse me. And this is the trifecta. This is the one I was most excited about, though, really, just because I'm such a beetle nut. Okay, anyway, but not beetle nut juice. Like I said, binding looks pretty good all around. I mean, it's nothing extraordinary, but it's certainly nice for the price point. Nice little touches of flames on the edges and all the curves. Or I keep saying flame, sunburst pattern. Bridge has a pretty light piece of plastic underneath of it. There's a space, I'm not sure. That will hold up through great abuse, but it looks all right, looks sturdy enough. The pickup covers themselves look good. The caps and the sleeves actually sit pretty flush with the unit. The switch box looks good. The knobs feel really good, actually. I expected like a looser, grittier feel on these, but they feel excellent, actually. Let me, sorry, I'm kind of cutting a little off the camera here. But what else? Back looks, that's the best part of this, man. This back looks amazing. I'm looking for blemishes in the finish, and I'm not really seeing any. Gotta remember not to fanboy out, but yeah, the back is just absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, the camera's not gonna do it justice, but it's not what I would call a flame maple, but I don't know, there's definitely a flaming effect here, so maybe that could be. Set neck, like I said. This neck actually looks pretty good. And they even bound the bottom part of that too, that's interesting. I haven't seen how straight it is. I mean, it looks decent. I'll have to take a closer at it. This thing sat outside once again for a couple hours in about 30-degree temperatures. I hate that. I actually came home from work when I saw it was delivered and bring it back in the house to acclimate. So I won't be playing it tonight, but tomorrow I'll hit it. Headstock looks good on this side. Really nice job with the sunburst pattern on the rear of this, actually. I'm quite impressed with that. No binding around the headstock once again. That doesn't really bother me. And they make sure to black it out. I really like that mother of pearl truss rod cover, or mother of plastic, whatever. And tuning knobs look nice, if nondescript. Fretboard definitely needs some nourishment. There's a little bit of schmutz here. I think it's just more rubbing compound. Looks like it's coming right off. But yeah, I could definitely should lube this up, and we'll see. Not as big a deal on a bass, but actually they don't feel that scratchy. They look a little dirty, but let's feel the neck here. Good size, actually kind of a chunkier neck for something this small, low profile. Fits pretty well in there. Kind of a gloss though, which I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, it looks nice, but of course I'm not really fast enough for it to bother, but I mean, it could definitely slow you down. So once again, that might be something I blasphemize later with some steel wool or whatever, but anyway, frets, there's a little bit of overhang here. I wouldn't run the neck too fast on some of these. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. Let's see if I can focus it. But it's a little bit sharp, not going to lie. So, see the under feels a little bit unfinished too. This definitely be a job for a sanding block. I mean, it's not gonna, well, I don't think it'll cut you. A couple of them, like this one up top here, doesn't go all the way to the end. This one overhangs it just a little bit, so we can hear it. So, something to be mindful of. So I guess you gotta expect something like that in a budget guitar. Yeah, they're definitely a little bit sharp. I mean, like I said, I'm not cutting myself, but I'm just saying it's a little bit prickly there. Once again, almost a 90-degree cut right here at the fingerboard. So not really rounded over that much, not a huge deal. But got the smallest of cracks in the binding here at one of the sight dots, no big deal, but the rest of it looks pretty flawless actually. The nut looks like some sort of plastic. That's fine. It looks like it's cut just fine though. I don't see any glue come out from underneath it. Looks like it's set pretty well. Comes out a little bit overhang up here by the headstock, but nothing too crazy. Except for on this side it's pretty flush. So yeah, on the bottom side it's a little less well finished there, but honestly it seems pretty decent. And yeah, that's about all there is to go over until we actually plug it in for sound. But man, this thing looks good. So I'm really excited to start learning some tunes on this, and I can't wait till I'm actually good enough to play some Beatles songs. But man, so excited. So stay tuned. We'll do some quick sound checks on these, and we'll give you my final thoughts here shortly. All right, we are back with the violin bass, and I'm going to give you a quick sound test today. Just some real basic idea of its capabilities. Not really, it's only limited by my capabilities, not by the actual instrument though. I'll just play a few recognizable riffs for you guys so you can get an idea of what it sounds like. I'm just going to play through my little 15 watt amp, practice amp back there, nothing special going on, and just let you get an idea of just how fun this thing is to play and how it sounds. And if you want to decide if you need help deciding whether you think you want this thing or not, well, maybe this will help. But once again, seek out somebody who really knows what they're doing. If you're on the fence about either picking up the bass or getting one of these style basses, I will say it's a lot different didn't say like my jazz bass down there. In some ways, it's maybe a little easier to play. It came set up with the action pretty high, but that's fixable. I don't really mind that so much. But I will say this, the strings that came on it are complete and utter garbage. And replace those as soon as you can. I will try to give you a picture of what I'm using here. If I remember, I got it sitting over there. But I got some flat wound strings on this thing. I restrung it the other night, and wow, what a world of difference. But I don't know if it'll come in. If you can see that or not, but they're it's just all the difference in the world. I mean, I don't think it'll sound good from here, but I mean, this thing is spanks on low E, that's for sure. But yeah, it's 100% burnt sound. It's about $45 for the strings. Highly recommended, honestly, if you want that deep, I mean, that deep tone, especially on the E and the A. It's just night and day the difference. Plus, it's easier to play. They're smooth. The other ones were kind of raspy on your fingers. They're just stuff that they come stock with, so they're probably got to be replaced. So whatever you decide to replace them with, that's fine. I went with the flat wound because that's what's recommended for the violin. So I'll go ahead and switch the mic back to the amp so you get a little different idea or a little better idea of the sound, and let me know what you think. Not of my playing, but of the guitar. Let's get some bottom E. let's get down into my final thoughts of what I think about this bass. I freaking love this bass. This is no longer hyperbole. This is no longer fanboyism. I love this bass. I have barely picked up my jazz bass since I got this. You know, whether it's a little easier to play for a beginner like me, that's part of it. And I'll be honest, one of the greatest selling points, I've talked about it before on my live stream, was this. It's sitting so comfortably in my lap. And when I'm sitting there watching video or something for a lesson, I can sit in my office chair. I don't have to have a special stool or anything, and it just fits there. It doesn't hurt my leg. It's even got that the cutout there. It actually just fits really well in the thigh, so it's not moving around on you and dancing around. It's so incredibly light. That part's great. Yeah, there's a little neck dive. That's just indicative of this model. Once you get this thing strapped up pretty well, it's okay. It's not really diving all over the place, but you have to keep a hold of it, something to be aware. But yeah, man, I just like this style of bass. I can tell I'll be spending a lot of time on it, and it's definitely become my go-to, and not only because of that, because that's the best strings of any of my guitars here, so I just love it, man. The flat wound strings make all the difference. This thing was kind of middling until I replaced the strings, and most of the stuff I had read and seen says that's one of the first things you want to do. The ones it came with were exceptionally bad and so buzzy. If I remember, I got some phone footage of it. You can hear me playing like Seven Nation Army a little bit. And you can see just how bad the buzz was with these things. And yeah, all the difference in the world. It helps so much. But really, the bass unit itself is just so much better than I thought it was going to be. For $150, $150, you're getting a replica of, you know, an iconic bass, or at least it was an iconic bass because of who played it. But whatever the case may be, it's fun. It's you know, the shorter style neck and all that, as opposed to the big gigantic beasts that are out there. It's light. You can practice with that without it plugged in and still get great resonance. You can hear it just fine without plugging it in. It's kind of like my semi-hollow back there, or practicing on an acoustic, you know. It's just so nice like that. And I'd like to get a better bass player in here who can noodle it for you, but I'm sure they'll hopefully tell you about the same thing. And I don't think I'm being too biased here. The pickups sound good. This thing, the volume is just heads and shoulders above my J bass back there. It's not as mellow a tone, of course, and honestly, I do like the sound of the higher strings, the D and the G over on the jazz bass. The lower ones here are, you know, just kind of thinner, not as creamy. They're not bad per se, but so I definitely for that. But for the low, oh my gosh, the E and the A in this thing. That's the noise you're getting with an unplugged bass guitar. It's almost like you're playing a double bass, right? An upright. So cool. This thing stands out in a crowd, so you won't really see too many of these running around. For the bargain basement price, I think this Rogue has been an exceptional deal. The fit and finish of this thing are just out of this world for the price point, right? It's beautiful. This guitar, or this bass, I call it a guitar. This guitar is beautiful, right? This is like one of the best looking units that I have. And would I recommend this? I sure would. I really would. Now, once again, I am a complete novice at bass, so don't take this as, you know, me recommending this is your primetime gig guitar. I'm sure the professional musician or the full-time musician would probably want a higher end instrument with bigger, well, I don't know if you want bigger pickups than this. Honestly, this will shake the windows even with the practice amp, but you know what I'm saying. You'll want better stuff, you know, better tuners. Even though these are 100% sufficient, I was able to change the strings out in about 30 minutes. And I kind of messed up a little bit, but it wasn't the guitar's fault. So, I mean, this thing was easy to restring. You know, the bridge is fine. The tail's fine. The switches all work. It looks great. It's fun to play. What more can you say about a guitar like this? So, yes, I give this I hearty recommend the Rogue violin-style bass. I think is a winner. And I'd like to put this up against the Ignition, the low-end, you know, Hufner that's made over in Asia as well. you know, just to see how it's stacked up. I mean, to see the major differences. I mean, are you just paying for a name on a headstock? I don't know, because this thing is good. I mean, do the strings and the amp make more of a difference than the actual bass violin guitar unit? That's kind of a argument you can have about any guitar, to be honest with you, nowadays, right? But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I really dig on this guitar. I highly recommend it for someone who's looking for a violin bass on a budget, who wants a nice piece of nostalgia. If nothing else, even hang on the wall. This is almost a reasonable cost just for a wall ornament, right? If you like have a Beatles room or something, this would be a great wall ornament. Get you a Bassman sticker, slap it on there, and you are ready. You're off to the races for 150 bucks. I mean, just for some reference, you can get little, I think they're 10-inch replica models of this bass, right? For, you know, collectors and stuff. Those are like $30 and $40. So you can go ahead and get a full-size thing for like the cost of like 5 of those. So yeah, anyway, I'm done gushing over this thing. I love this bass. There's a few tiny little problems with it. Nothing is going to impede someone of my playing level at all. And I think a person could do a lot worse than spend $150 on a bass like this that has not only nostalgia, but I think it definitely has some playing chops as well. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. I know it got kind of long, but I wanted to give it a nice thorough breakdown for more of the beginner and someone who might be curious about this guitar. So if you have any questions, please reach out and let me know. And maybe I'll do some more videos in the future as I get a little better, I can noodle better and give you a better idea of its properties and play it through a bigger cabinet and all that. But for now, I think you have a pretty good idea what this thing can do. So thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is Genome. Just wanting him a Bassman sticker now to complete the ensemble. Out.